So with this drawing, the right off the bat, I immediately struggled a lot with the faces because both the characters I'm drawing are for art fight. They're another person's characters that I'm drawing right now, and I really wanted to draw them because I had a really fun idea for them, and I loved how distinct their faces were from one another. So I knew that meant I would have to draw noses, and I absolutely despise drawing noses for some reason. I'm really bad at it. Eventually, I do draw a better face on it, but right now, this stage, it looks really bad. As for the pose, the idea behind the pose was basically like, these characters are like doomed lovers, vampire hunter, I believe. So I was like, okay, I want it to look like they're dancing, but like also when you look closer, you're like, oh, they're like actively like trying to kill each other. I thought that would be really interesting. And I had a lot of fun with drawing the anatomy. I didn't really use any reference except for like the hands, I think, which I'm kind of proud that I'm like at a stage where I can kind of get away with it. Yeah, and it was just really fun. I loved drawing that hand holding the dagger, and I loved drawing like medieval Europe style clothing. It's just fun for some reason. Yeah, these are just really great character designs also. So that's mainly why I was drawing them. Yeah. And Art Fight is almost over at the time of recording this, and by the time I post this, it probably will already be over. I did do a decent amount of Art Fight like attacks, more than I thought I would, honestly, because last year I did like 4, so that's good. But yeah, oh, and here's me drawing the face, and like I'm very proud of that face. Like I think it looks good. Also, drawing like characters who have like sharp facial features is so fun. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this drawing. Mainly because it was, well, it was like long to draw. This took 3 hours. It was not, there wasn't as many problems as I would have anticipated, usually, with this big of piece. I don't have a lot to say. I was just kind of like in the zone throughout it, which is nice. But yeah, usually I would just like put music over it. But I also know those aren't the types of speed paints I enjoy watching most of the time. Unless they're like by a friend. So I'm talking. Yeah. I've been doing more traditional line art lately. So, and because I was taking a class, and so while I was doing this, I was just having so much fun with this line art because how I do line art, I just draw the line and like erase it and reshape it a million times basically, and you cannot really do that with like ink. So I was having a blast. I'm not good with inks yet. I really want to be good with inks because I love the sort of line that a good like inked line looks. I just love how it looks. And I think it'd suit my style really nice because whenever I draw digitally, I do use like calligraphy pens, and I really love the line weight it gives you. So I really hope in the future I can get better at that. But yeah. Also, I like to draw really small on paper, but add a lot, and digitally, I draw really small, but I add a lot of detail. So that doesn't really work for traditional media, I guess. I did struggle a bit with the pose, I guess. I did have to like clean it up a few times and refine it. But all in all, like I knew how to solve the problems I was having, so it was pretty straightforward. Yeah, I'm kind of sad I didn't get to record a lot of the sketching process because that was one of the most fun parts. But the video is already kind of long, and I have to talk already for like 15 minutes, so it's probably good. I'm looking at my sketchbook because I wrote all these notes for what I have to talk about. I guess I said I should talk about my general process, but like, I don't know. You can see it, so I don't really know what to talk about. um, yeah, I don't know. I like drawing hands. I like drawing fabric. And I'm glad that I drew like a full body piece for Art Fight, especially of two characters. Because, I don't know, usually I'm more inclined to do like, just like people's heads or characters' heads. And just like barely like shade them. Which like that can be fun too. But I'm glad I put a lot of effort into this. Because I really love the idea behind it. So. And I love the characters. And you should go check out the Instagram for the person who draws the characters. Because I think he has more like lore on them. And they're doomed lovers. So I'm obsessed. I love ships of doomed lovers, unfortunately. But yeah. Yeah, my friends say that I'm like torturing myself, but I find the Doomed Lovers like storyline so like it's so emotional and so much fun at the same time. Like the idea of just like two people who could have been so much more perfect for each other in a different timeline. Like that is so interesting to play around with. Yeah. I feel like I'm just justifying how much I love reading and like watching angsty shit, but I don't know. Oh, and for coloring, I kind of messed around with the colors because the color palette looks really nice in the other person's style, but for me, like, I need a lot more variety. I can't just have all warm tones. Because it's just too boring for me. It looks nice in other people's styles, but while I'm drawing, I just get bored. So I kind of altered and changed around the colors, and I think it also gives them a bit more contrast, which, because there's so many, like, intersecting, like, parts in this piece, I think that's, was very useful for me. Because I needed everything to, like, stand out from one another just enough. And, yeah. I was kind of thinking about making, like, the vampire skin, like, paler, I think, but I didn't. Because it's not as pale on the reference sheet, so I just didn't bother. And I don't know. I think it works fine also because the other character has, like, a bit darker skin, so it actually kind of looks pale in contrast. But, I don't know. I could have gone for, like, a little bit more dead skin sort of vibe. Anyway. Yeah. Whenever I do colors now, I really like kind of rendering each piece I color a little bit. It's just like, I think it just makes everything a lot faster for me. And I really enjoy shading, so it's also just more fun to do it that way. But yeah, I messed around with skin tone again, because this is another thing, like, while I was drawing this, I'm like, skin's a little bit too gray for my liking. Like, I didn't notice it on the reference sheet. It looks fine on the reference sheet, but I was drawing it and I'm like, against all these other colors that I have, it looks too gray. So I made it warmer, which, I don't know. Again, I kind of wish I had both their skin, like, a little bit more like, I don't go out in the sun sort of vibe, but whatever. It works for this specific piece fine. Because, for my style, I like having more vibrant colors. But yes, there we are. I really like the shading on those sleeves that I did, where it's like kind of purpley. Yeah, and I was kind of struggling with like keeping the his like vest and then the cape like different reds, so you could tell them apart because they're kind of close in that section. I think I ended up warming it up a bit, or I just yeah, I might have just like made the shading very distinct. But I don't know, I kind of wish now that I'd made it a bit more red and just like lighter. It's kind of hard to see it against the cape. I also did thin line art for this piece, which like I don't know how I feel about it. Usually I like doing like thicker line art, but recently I've been more into doing thinner line art. I don't know, I kind of wish I could do the thick line art again, but I don't know. Because it kind of feels like thin line art is just like a guide for colors more than it is part of the piece. I feel like, at least in my style, other people can do it well, but like, I don't know how I like it. There's another thing of keeping the shoes like distinct from one another. Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing I was struggling with. It's just the color palettes because they're very similar and the values are very similar to one another. In particular, I think it was just a problem of values, so I had to change things a bit. But yeah, again, like not a dig at the original artist. This was just a problem I was having within my own process when drawing. But yeah, I'm just like I like more distinct, brighter colors. But I don't know. Yeah, and I changed the sleeves because of that. I was like, I changed the colors a lot throughout it. Just messing around, trying to make everything just like contrast more, I guess. And yeah, the dagger, I don't know. I just feel like daggers are in a lot of like vampire stories. I don't know. I started reading like Interview with a Vampire, but I don't know. It's kind of weird because it's also like dude's like plantation owner and he's like depressed and shit, and it's kind of like I don't want to feel bad for you because I genuinely don't. Anyway, but yes, I probably should finish it though, just for this because I've already started it, just for the sake of finishing it. But it's also I don't know. I don't know how it ends. Maybe this problem is not gonna be. You'll be if you finished it, you'll be like, okay, that's not like a thing by the end. Like, they do this with the writing, but like, I don't know. Just found it kind of weird. And then yeah, I gave it the lighting for the piece, kind of like. I want it to be kind of like club lighting, but also like very dark at the same time. And so again, like this idea of like you look at it first and you're like, oh, they're like dancing, that's cute, and then you look closer and you're like, oh, dear, that's not entirely true, is it? Also, just like, I don't know, it's just like two things that juxtapose each other like that, and just, yeah, I don't know. Also, I made the lighting like really extreme and like nonsensical because I haven't done that in so long, but I love doing it so much, and I think the colors make it look really pretty, and again, like it makes it look like less extreme than what's actually happening. But yeah, that is the final piece. I'm sorry if I did not attack you on Art Fight and you wanted me to. I'm not good with Art Fight, but this is the piece, the final piece, and I really like it. I think it turned out really good. Only thing I don't really like is the background, but other than that, yes. Alright, thanks for watching.